All stand for the pledge and remain standing after the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father, we thank you tonight for this season of the year that we celebrate. We thank you for this city, for those that work for the city, that live in the city, and we just pray that you bless us tonight as we do the business of the city. We thank you for your love and your grace that you bestow on us each and every day, and ask for your continued blessing. In your name we pray. Amen.
At this time, we are going to recognize our parade float winners. How many people got to see the parade? All right. The People's Choice Award was won by Arctic Fox Heating and Air, and they were voted by most likes on Facebook. Who is here to represent? We have a trophy somewhere.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Okay.
Anybody else want a photo made with the People's Choice winner?
Ready? 1, 2. Perfect. Thank you.
And then we have an award for the Mayor's Choice. This goes to the Venable Cuts Lawn Care. Who's here to represent that? I've got to ask you, what was under that?
A Ford F-150, a 99 Ford F-150. I was trying to think of something else to tell you, but can anybody else get the picture? Or?
Yeah, everybody.
Cool.
Is that your son?
Are you ready? 1, 2. Perfect. Thank you.
Let's give a big round of
It must be Christmas.
As we get into our agenda, item 1.3, approval of minutes of the regular meeting of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen held November 18th, 2025. Do we have a motion?
Mine's not somewhere it's supposed to be. I don't know what I've done wrong.
You're still present, so.
Blank.
Probably, maybe because I haven't hit vote yet. Let's.
Okay, look.
Give a pen, Jenny. Alderman's what I was digging for. I brought in jam and forgot the pen. Y'all have great pens. Yeah. Here's one you can keep. This is my favorite though.
I'm not sure mine's right either.
Yes, updates. Did yours do right, Leslie? That's a trick question.
Yours is good. It looks like they went to sleep. Somebody did.
Thank you very much.
Good busy day. No, sir. I would take credit for it if I did, don't worry.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
All right, we have a motion by Alderman.
Just to say, I think we've got a couple more that need to be reset here.
Bear with us just a moment. Everybody good? We have a motion by Alderman Trotter, a second by Alderman Bradley. Questions or comments? We're ready to vote. Let's vote. Does anyone care to change their vote? Thank you, Ryan, for getting us going. Would you tally the votes, please?
Motion passes 7-0.
Item 1.4, public comment period. We have no one that registered for public comment. Moving to item 1.5, public hearing. Ordinance 25-35, an ordinance rezoning property at 2814 Memorial Boulevard from commercial general to commercial services to allow medical and professional services. We have a motion. Do we have a motion?
Public hearing.
Public hearing, public, you don't need one.
It's public hearing.
This is no need on the public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anyone here to speak to that? Seeing no one, we will move on to our legislative. Item 2.1, discuss and probably take action on ordinance 25-35 on second and final reading. An ordinance rezoning property at 2814 Memorial Boulevard from commercial general to commercial services to allow for medical and professional services. We have a motion by Alderman Gregg, a second by Vice Mayor Harris. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, are we ready to vote? Let's cast our votes. Anyone care to change their votes? Would you tally the votes, please?
Motion passes 7-0.
Item 2.2, discuss and possibly take action on ordinance 25-36 on first reading. An ordinance amending Title 4, Chapter 3, Section 4-307 of the Springfield Municipal Code relative to the Occupational Safety and Health Program. We have a motion by Alderman Hubbard, a second by Vice Mayor Harris. I believe City Manager Ryan Martin has something to speak of this.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is an item amending the municipal code. Previously, in the municipal code, it's outlined that the assistant fire chief will serve as the safety director of the city. That was done particularly in 2003, I believe, for the current circumstances. That's since changed over the last 20 or so years. In fact, we went about 5 years, I think, without an assistant fire chief. So what we're asking for you all to do tonight is to approve this to allow the to free that up where it's not pigeonholed to a particular position. We still have that located in the fire department. It's currently done by the fire marshal or fire inspector right now.
Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, we're ready to vote. Let's vote. Anyone care to change their vote? Would you tally the votes, please?
Motion passes 7-0.
Item 2.3, discuss and possibly take action on ordinance 25-37 on first reading. An ordinance rezoning property at 2209 Ruth Street from medium-density residential R10 to high-density residential R7 to permit a second developable lot. Motion by Alderman Hubbard, a second by Alderman Gregg. Mr. Ryan Martin, I believe you have something to add to that.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So this comes to you with a negative recommendation from the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission evaluated this request and voted to recommend that you all deny this rezoning request. It did come with a positive or affirmative recommendation from the staff solely because of its compliance with all existing regulations. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Reading in the packet, currently the way it is, it's R10, is that right?
That's correct, yes,
He's
sir.
wanting to go to R7.
Correct.
Because he has the lot that the house is on, and then another part of a lot or another lot with it. But even if it is rezoned, nothing could be done with it, with the house standing as it is now. Is that correct?
That's correct. Our understanding is that the owner intends, is requesting the rezoning because the rezoning would allow him to re-subdivide those two lots and create two R7 lots and two houses. But currently, that is impossible because of the current house the current conditions don't allow that because that house would stretch across where that new line needed to be.
And so you want us to vote it down?
The Planning Commission recommended denial.
Yeah, I'd go along with that too. I
Are we ready to cast our votes? Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, let's
I would
cast.
like clarification.
Yeah.
So if we vote yes, we are voting to confirm the recommendation of the board or voting yes to approve the rezoning?
Great question. What's before you in the as far as the ordinance is an ordinance rezoning the property. So if you
Thank you.
if you vote yes, that is voting yes to rezone the property. Voting no.
Thank you.
The Planning Commission did recommend denial. They did not give us a reason for that denial at that meeting, but a majority vote was a recommendation of a denial.
This is your,
So a no would kill it, that's what I'm, I guess you're asking, a no would deny it completely, right?
the
No would
rezoning.
go along with the planning commission's recommendation,
That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
which, I mean, I guess I would think, is he here tonight?
That's what I was about to ask. Did the applicant have notified to come speak?
The applicant was aware that the Planning Commission moved on a recommendation, and then you all have the ultimate say. The Planning Commission evaluates it as just a recommendation. They dig into the details of the request, but I do not believe Mr. and the applicant, the owner, is here tonight, right?
So, I had something similar last month in my zone, my area, where they were gonna tear down a home and put two places up. This is something similar, I think, is what they're trying to, eventually, we assume that what they're trying to do is move the house and put two places up as, an assumption?
That would be the only rationale behind requesting rezoning, but it's my understanding the owner informed the Planning Commission that he has no intention to tear the house down currently.
So why are we,
Yeah, right.
we don't know why we're rezoning. I got you, okay, fair enough.
I would think it would be probable to wait until, if he tore it down and then come back and ask for rezoning, would it not, or?
We don't know.
Okay.
Just move to vote no.
Any other questions or comments?
All right.
It'll kill it.
Comment. A vote no is voting against what city staff recommends. And all things are in place, or the staff would not be recommending this. And the house that is standing there is a good, nice house. It's not something that a person's gonna go in there and tear down a $300,000 plus house in order to build two small houses.
But why would he ask for it to be rezoned?
That's my
then?
question.
You'd have to know him in order to
Okay,
get
Okay,
that
let's
answer.
go.
I understand.
Any other questions or comments? Are we ready to vote?
I think so.
Do we?
Are we clear?
Yes.
I mean, well, when the,
Since it's your ward, you said vote no, right, sir?
I'm voting with the city recommendation, which would be a yes vote.
A no.
Oh.
Isn't that
Could be a
correct?
no vote.
So that's why I pointed that out on the beginning. I wanted to point out the distinction between the staff's recommendation and the Planning Commission's recommendation. So the staff's recommendation is based purely on an objective evaluation of whether the conditions of the application meet all of the current regulations, the zoning ordinance, the subdivision regulations, the comprehensive growth plan. There's not a subjective determination. We don't give our opinion unless you ask for our opinion. So when the staff recommends approval, that's telling the Planning Commission, yes, this is compliant with everything. Now, it's also compliant in its current condition, its current scenario it is, but Mr. Gregg is right. Ms. Durham made the recommendation to the Planning Commission of approval based on its compliance with all the requisite regulations. The Planning Commission is the one that applies a subjective determination in their recommendation to you all.
Is the city aware, I think the answer is no, but is the city aware of any particular reason as to why there's a request for rezoning if there's no intent to change how those properties are being used? Because it just seems very strange. Is there anything else that I am not aware of? Am I missing something here?
I have the same question, honestly. If the owner is not going to tear down the house, I don't know, other than just reserving the future right. I mean, I think that would be the only
Sell it
reason is
and
that
somebody
the
else do
owner
it.
is reserving that future right to be grandfathered under a set of zoning regulations that allow at some future time to subdivide that property if in the event in the future that house decided or became where it needed to come down.
but even
You want to vote it down.
even though, I mean, staff is basically basing it on because it meets all the requirements. It's no one's opinion. But I guess my standpoint is until he tears the house down, I see no point of rezoning from what it currently is, but I guess I would support the planning commission.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it would have been better if the applicant had came and gave an explanation himself.
It does sound like there are quite a few questions. I'm not sure, and Mr. Chairman, Mayor, you might recognize Ms. Durham to see what the applicant shared at the Planning Commission. As far as if those questions were asked, I'm not sure if those questions were asked at the Planning Commission level or if he attended that meeting also.
Mr. Chairman, would you?
Good evening, Board. The applicant actually did not speak at the Planning Commission either. And from speaking with him in my offices and then through the surveyor who submitted the original request, the understanding was it was to hold out in case something were to ever change in the future. He gave no real indication of why he wanted this rezoning.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? Are we clear in our understanding?
We're not clear, but I got some understanding.
Am I correct in assuming that this is asking for permission, which would require a yes? If we deny this, that requires a vote of no, correct?
So what, yes, sir, what you're voting on is an ordinance to rezone the property. So a yes vote approves that ordinance to rezone the property, a no vote denies that ordinance.
And the planning commission denied it.
The planning commission recommended, they just merely make a recommendation, and they recommended you to deny it.
Are we ready to vote?
Yes, sir.
Let's cast our votes. Anyone care to change their votes? Would you tally the votes, please?
Motion fails 1-6.
Item 2.4, discuss and possibly take action on ordinance 25-38 on first reading. An ordinance rezoning approximately 2.78 acres located at Black Patch Drive from RS20 to R10 PUD, and to amend the previously approved preliminary master development plan for the Summit View planned unit development to incorporate said acreage and plat 13 additional residential lots. We have a motion by Alderman Hubbard. We have a second, have a motion by Alderman Holloman, a second by Alderman Hubbard. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, are we ready to vote? Let's cast our votes. Anyone care to change their vote? Would you tally the votes, please?
Motion passes 6-1. We have an abstain,
Very good.
if they would state the reason.
Owner.
Owner.
Item 2.5, discuss and possibly take action on resolution 25-28, a resolution authorizing the city of Springfield to participate in the James L. Richardson Driver Training Matching Grant Program. We have a motion by Alderman Hubbard, a second by Alderman Trotter. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, are we ready to vote? Let's vote. Anyone care to change their vote? Would you tally the votes, please?
Motion passes 7-0.
Item 2.6, discuss and possibly take action on resolution 25-29, a resolution accepting a performance bond renewal from Root Delve LLC to guarantee the completion of the infrastructure improvement of Autumnwood Estates Section 3. I have a motion by Alderman Gregg, a second by Alderman Bradley. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, are we ready to vote? Let's cast our votes. Anyone care to change their vote? Would you tally the votes, please?
Motion passes 7-0.
Item 2.7, discuss and possibly take action on Resolution 25-30, a resolution amending the city's personnel policy. We have a motion by Vice Mayor Harris, have a second by Alderman Hubbard. I believe City Manager Ryan Martin has something to say to this.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll just explain, we bring you a change every year to our personnel policy. Oftentimes that's clarifying some language or addressing a new federal law that maybe comes out. This has a few cleanup items in it this year. We codify in the policy the new longevity structure that you all approved in the budget this year, and so we put that in the policy. We did make some changes to the gifts and gratuities, or solicitation and gratuities policy, with some of that language being outdated and not covering all scenarios. It's still very strong and very ethically geared towards ethical compliance, but some of the things did get updated in there, and that language is redlined for you in the policy. We also updated some of the evaluation and disciplinary process language to make it consistent with other aspects of the policy, and then a couple of minor cleanup items, but I'll be glad to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions? Any comments? Hearing none, are we ready to vote? Let's cast our votes. Anyone care to change their vote? Would you tally the votes, please?
Motion passes 7-0.
Moving into our administrative portion of our agenda. Item 3.1, discuss and possibly take action on the adjustment of the retail electric rates of Springfield Electric Department due to wholesale fuel cost adjustment by the Tennessee Valley Authority. We have a motion by Alderman Hubbard, a second by Alderman Trotter. Electrical Director, Mr. Terry Risha, how are you?
2.04% higher.
2.04% higher.
Can I make a comment? I think it was Sunday night, Rose Hill was sort of offline about, 2 hours? Was it Sunday night?
Saturday.
Saturday night. How many, you have some transformers that blew or what?
Squirrel.
Seriously?
Squirrel.
Squirrel?
Did he live?
He's extra crispy now.
Well, I just want to tell you, you have some pretty hot customers. I got some hot phone calls.
That'd be all right.
Are we ready to vote?
Yes, sir.
Let's cast our votes. Anyone care to change their vote? Would you tally the votes, please?
Motion passes 7-0.
Item 3.2, discuss and possibly take action on the adjustment of the monthly gas rates of Springfield Gas Department. Have a motion by Alderman Hubbard, a second by Alderman Bradley. Gas Director, Mr. Benji Davis.
Purchase gas adjustments saw an increase of 5.6 cents, resulting in an across-the-board average of 8.4%.
Any questions, comments? We ready to vote? Let's cast our votes. Anyone care to change their vote? Would you tally the votes, please?
Motion passes 7-0.
Item 3.3, discuss and possibly take action on a request for authorization to submit a notice of intent to apply for the State of Tennessee's Local Parks and Recreation Fund grant for the year 2026. We have a motion by Vice Mayor Harris, have a second by Alderman Trotter. City Manager Ryan Martin has something to add to this, I believe.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is requesting authorization from this body to file a notice of intent to apply for the LPRF, which is the Local Parks and Recreation Fund grant in 2026 through the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation. That would be a $1.5 million grant. As you all know, we've recently acquired the property there at, next to the tank via the transaction that took place that you all approved a while back. And so the intent for that land is to do a soccer complex. The soccer complex frees up land at Travis Price Park, which enables that to become a baseball and softball expansion project later, which accommodates our growing need for field space in all of these areas. Parks Director, Mr. Martin, has his staff put together the proposed layout for you all to look at what this project initially looks like at that property, and then you can see the list in page 1 of your packet of what phase 1 would look like and be funded by this grant. This is coming before you all because these funds aren't allocated, right? These would be future funds that would have to be allocated, and so your vote, if you do approve this tonight, it also would allocate those funds in a future budget to fund the project. So there would be a certain amount of funds allocated in the FY27 budget, and then as the project finished in FY28, presumably the remaining funds would be allocated. So we'll be happy to, this is consistent with our Parks Master Plan, and we've got a lot of needs in the city in general, but a lot facility-wise, but needs in the Parks Department. One of those is baseball, softball field space and soccer space and indoor gym space, indoor rec space and community center space. And so we try to tackle those in the order that we can tackle them, but we'll be glad to answer any questions that you
I
have.
think this would be a great venture to enhance what we have. And Mr. Martin, I have to compliment you and your crew for doing a great job. Because I'm a frequent user of all of the parks.
Is Terry Martin still in charge of parks? We hadn't heard from him in months.
He's getting his glory tonight, though, don't worry.
Fixing Christmas lights.
The part that's carved out, I see the red line about the flood zone, that's, because I know about this from looking in the back of my neighborhood, and the part that's carved out for the field is definitely not. It's above that flood zone, obviously, I mean, I hope it is.
So, because the turf fields and the paving, so it'd have to be out of the floodway. It doesn't mean that the part in the floodplain can't be used. Those would be used for grass fields. We could still put grass fields in that, because, hey, flood zones make great soccer field land, right?
Yeah.
They're perfect. But the complex on the upper side would be turf fields, and those are outside of the floodplain.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Are we ready to vote?
While we're in,
Mr. Hubbard?
I've heard a lot of feedback for Winter Wonderland, so keep doing a good job.
Are we ready to cast our votes? Let's vote. Anyone care to change their vote? Would you tally the votes, please?
Motion passes 7-0.
Item 3.4, discuss and possibly take action on appointments to various boards and commissions. We have a motion by Alderman Hubbard, a second by Alderman Trotter. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, are we ready to vote? Let's cast our votes. Anyone care to change their vote? Would you tally the votes, please?
Motion passes 7-0.
Item 3.5, discuss and possibly take action on the city's current ordinance regarding water service outside the urban growth boundary. We have a motion by
Good blank.
92.
Melissa, are you able to put it in verbally if they, or is your system, okay. Mayor, if someone makes a verbal motion, we can do that while we sort out the technology.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Harris, a second.
Now we're up.
I have some
There we
questions.
go.
Can you elaborate on this for me? Can you tell me more about this?
I can, and let me correct something first. Let me go back to the other item. I said floodplain. Floodway is what I meant to say. We can put grass fields in the floodway. We cannot put turf fields in the floodway. The floodplain, the 100-year and 500-year still encompasses a portion of that property where the soccer fields would go. So I just wanted to make sure I had factually accurate with my terminology, the difference between floodway and floodplain. But yes, I will address this. So what's before you tonight, what we're asking you to do tonight, so this body passed an ordinance in October of 2024 that curtailed the expansion of our water system outside the urban growth boundary. That was based on a recommendation from our consultant in the comprehensive growth plan study that we did that was looking out 20 years into the future to look at what needs may arise for the city of Springfield. It was not, and I want to make sure that, and I know you all know, but for anyone else that may not know, there's not a water capacity issue today. We're not short on water. We have plenty of water. The issue was looking out 20 years into the future based on certain unknowns. And what we do know, what's been the growth that has been approved, and then not knowing some things that are outside of this body's control, what that capacity might look like in 20 years from now, right? The greatest unknown in that was Coopertown, not knowing whether Coopertown was going to grow on a large scale or whether they weren't going to grow on a large scale. After that ordinance was passed, shortly after that, discussions began. Mayor Poole and I have had discussions with the mayor of Coopertown. He, on behalf of his city, has requested or had shown a desire to work out an arrangement so that they can find an alternative solution to this, right? And so what they have brought in a group that is interested in acquiring that territory from the city, and we are far enough along in those discussions at this point. They've submitted a preliminary boundary of what that might look like, which encompasses the limits of Coopertown plus some ancillary areas outside of that boundary based on the hydraulic and engineering needs to service the rest of the area. Our engineers, Mr. Beers, before he retired, had looked at that. Mr. Brewer's looked at that map, I've looked at that map, and we all agree that that is an acceptable territory, so we are waiting on them to maybe formalize an offer. But because of that, and because of the needs of other things that are ongoing in Coopertown with folks that are requesting and trying to get clear on what their future plans might be, we're comfortable enough at this point to come to the board. I've discussed with Ms. Barty to ask you all to put a stay, if you will, hit the brakes on the enforcement of the deadline of that original October 2024 ordinance of May 2026 is when that's supposed to come into play. So if you all affirmatively vote for that tonight, what we would do, that would authorize us to bring you back a legislative document. That was done by ordinance, so we would need to either stay it by resolution or do something by ordinance legally to make that effective. But we would ask for some affirmative vote from you all tonight. If you're willing to pursue that, we would bring something back to you in January that would be the official legislative action for that.
What would be the time limit? As long as negotiations were ongoing?
I think so, because I think possibly by the time we come back in January, we may have something firm to consider from the group that is considering the Coopertown territory, that's working with the mayor of Coopertown, working with us on that. So I would say as long as those negotiations are continuing in good faith, there's no reason for us to continue with the enforcement of the ordinance. Let me add on to that. Why would we look to that? Because the unknown was Coopertown, right? The rural areas of the county who are kind of caught in the middle here. There was never going to be enough, or we don't intend or see that there's going to be enough growth, large-scale growth in the county, in the rural areas of the county, that would impact that water capacity 20 years from now, right? It was always Coopertown who we didn't, with larger subdivisions and higher density developments, that created that question of what does capacity look like in 20 years.
Any questions?
Yeah, so we're voting to extend the timeline for them to come to the table and say we're going to purchase this from the city? Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're voting on right now?
What we'd ask you to vote on is to vote on authorizing us to bring you back a legislative action, a document next month that just hits the brakes, just applies the brakes on the enforcement of the May 2026 deadline while we're in negotiations with the company.
So Coopertown was the main objective for this piece of legislation, but the other areas in the county that would affect, I've had a couple of calls that it seems very scary that we're going to stop all growth out in the county. I've had a couple of calls about that.
Yeah.
So that's what that, if we vote no, then that is what we're voting to stop that growth. I mean, I want to make sure I'm voting on what I think I'm voting on.
Yeah.
A yes vote would say we're going to extend the time to get this together.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Are we actually voting on that tonight, or are we just instructing to bring something forward?
Yeah, I think it would be helpful if we had a vote, Mr. Harris, to know, because this is a major issue. We have a slightly different board composition today than when this ordinance was originally passed, and so I would request a vote from this body, one way or the other, to authorize us to bring something back next month.
So if we vote yes, we're authorizing you to do so.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Brewer, what type of line do we have running to Coopertown? What size water?
Presently, along 257, we have an 8-inch, but we have
That's what I'm
recently
thinking.
obtained grant money from, through the state and through the county to upgrade that line to a 12-inch. We have a 6-inch that provides water from 40 through 41 in a pump station there that's just in front of Glover Hills. And so those are presently the only two ways that we feed that system.
Okay. That's what I want to be sure about.
Any other questions or comments?
Mayor, if you don't mind, before the board votes, I would just like to get a sort of a affirmative nod from Ms. Barty that we are, everything's squared away with what we're proposing to do tonight. Okay.
The only thing the board is doing tonight is authorizing us to bring back legislation.
Yeah, thank you.
Are we ready to vote? Let's cast our votes. Anyone care to change their vote? Would you tally the votes, please?
Motion passes 7-0.
Moving on to our consent agenda.
Mayor, without objection, move to take as one.
Righty. Do we need a second for that?
Mr. Trotter did.
We'll have a motion by Alderman Trotter and a second by Alderman Hubbard.
Well,
Any questions, comments?
It doesn't matter, I made
Okay.
We got 2 seconds then. Any questions or comments? Are we ready to vote? Let's cast our votes. Anyone care to change their vote? Would you tally the votes, please?
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. At this time, City Manager Ryan Martin has his report.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I want to recognize in the back of the room, Ms. Catherine Stewart, if you would mind standing up and showing everybody. She is our new Public Affairs Coordinator. She started with us within the last couple of weeks, and she's off to a great start, and I think she will do well. Many of you might know her formerly with United Way and here locally, and so we're pleased to have her on staff here at the City of Springfield. I also want to apologize that it's cold in here. We have yet another heat issue in the building. As most of you know that have been around, this building is it's tough, and so we have a heat exchanger that has gone out, so I apologize for that. When you walked in tonight, you had training forms before you that Ms. Brickles had provided. We're required by state law to have those. Each elected official is required to fill one of those out, and she's assisted with part of that. So if you have any questions about those required forms or the hours that go into that, let me, the training hours that go into that, let me know. Coming next month, I want to kind of give you a heads up. We're going to, Ms. Bradley brought up a point, and part of this water issue, there were unintended consequences that kind of came out of this water ordinance. We had situations in the rural parts of the county where folks said, hey, we've subdivided, grandfather so-and-so subdivided land and wanted the kids to each have 5 acres and build, right? And now they're not going to be able to do that because after May of 2026, you're not going to give them a water tap. And that's true, right? And that's an unintended consequence of what, of the ordinance. And so that's one of the reasons why if we can work something out on this Coopertown situation, then we can maybe free that up for those folks, and I think that's probably the calls that you've been getting. Another issue that has arisen is folks that bought taps 30 years ago. We have 20 folks that are showing up with taps that they purchased 20 or 30 years ago before any of us were involved in providing city services, and they want their water service. And the issue in some of those areas is that those lines cannot, the other customers on the line would lose pressure, and we wouldn't be able to adequately provide service along the line because it's pretty much tapped out. So their position is, well, I bought the tap, I want the service, and our position is that the service is subject to availability, right? And so we'll refund your money for the tap. I think in those areas where that applies, we do have some isolated solutions that we're going to work out. It looks like that we can maybe get worked out for those customers next spring and resolve that issue. However, the overarching issue of people buying taps and sitting on them for 20 to 30 years is something we've got to tackle, okay? So we intend to bring back a recommendation to you all next month that formalizes a policy that provides a deadline for which those taps need to be installed or scheduled to be installed, or else we refund their money, because I understand where these folks were. They believed that buying that tap guaranteed them service at some undetermined, indefinite date in the future, right? I understand their position. We also understand that the water service is first come, first serve, right? And so on those lines. And so we need to do something that better resolves that and allows that to, puts the city and the customer both in a better position. Some unfortunate news to pass along. Our sales tax this month did fall quite a bit below budget due to a state mandated refund. There was a large sales tax payer in the city limits that had requested had recognized an overpayment and requested a refund. So our numbers for December don't look that great, but all in all, for year to date, we're still looking, 1 to 2% ahead of budget. So we took a pretty good hit this month with that particular refund that the state had to issue when they investigated it and found that the overpayment was valid. Mr. Hubbard mentioned Winter Wonderland. It's open through December 28th. This is pretty incredible. We've already had over 17,000 visitors to Winter Wonderland.
Great.
We've usually had around 20,000 for the period of opening, and we've already hit 17,000 based on our counts. And there's a lot of people from a lot of areas. I was there Saturday night. You'll be pleased to know that I did discover that Mr. Martin does in fact actually work. And so he was directing traffic into a parking lot, and he was out there working hard. And but his folks and the other departments involved, but particularly the Parks and Recreation Department, have done a phenomenal job at Winter Wonderland. I know most of you have been out there, but that's a great thing for not only our community, but the surrounding communities that are converging on Springfield and visiting that. Our Christmas parade was Saturday, and we had around 5,000 or so visitors to the Christmas parade. So that was another big hit for the city. Want to remind you all about Thursday morning. Our annual employee appreciation breakfast and the service award ceremony is this Thursday morning at the center. As a result of that, our city offices will open at 9 a.m. That day, and we appreciate you all allowing and sort of blessing us opening the city offices a little late so we can celebrate our employees. It's the only time of the year we get to do that. So thank you all very much.
Yeah. I would just like to acknowledge the Springfield High School football team. This particular team is loaded with a lot of D1 players, very good players. And so we just want to give a shout out to them. And especially the coaching staff, because they've established what Springfield is recognized as a very solid football program in the state of Tennessee. So we want to give them their kudos, okay? He's tough, he's well-disciplined, and the guys fall in line. That's what I like about him.
Anyone else?
So in my ward, to acknowledge South Haven and their football team and their, I believe it's the volleyball team also, that have won some awards, and this body is going to be honoring them in the months to come. We're trying to get the schedules worked out where they can be here for us to properly acknowledge them, but to give them congratulations for what they've done.
Anyone else? Shop local.
That's right.
We are adjourned, and Merry Christmas, everyone.
Mayor, the board and all